It's the Out the Box Rugby Podcast with André Pretorius and Envia Velman, only on MEGAFOON Rugby.
So the Lions get their derby win at last. Now, don't be fooled. I think the Stormers had enough opportunities to take this game into another direction. But let's unpack this truly dominant performance by the Lions and just see where we get to and where the Stormers actually lost it and the Lions won it. So the story of the match, I think, for me was the Lions started quite well, and then for a while there, they couldn't exit really well. They couldn't get out of their 22. The kicks weren't long enough, and it just built pressure. The Stormers kept coming at them, and due to some sloppy errors, I think, and the Lions, they like the tackle situation. They like to create chaos at the tackle situation. The Stormers had a lot of opportunities where they got stripped, the ball got stolen, and they never converted those opportunities into points. And on the flip side of that coin was when the Lions got an opportunity, their transition work was really good. They acted on the ball quickly. They caused line breaks. They didn't score off all of them, but they put the Stormers under pressure, got penalties out of some of them. And then obviously with guys like Q and Horn getting line breaks from those opportunities and scoring from there, that turned the game upside down for the Stormers. I think the handling errors and the breakdown security was lacking, especially in that first part. Hold the ball for a couple of phases. They need to ask one more critical question of the Lions defense, and they just can't, because then the ball gets stolen or they lose it themselves. And those opportunities, you are going to get opportunities in the game, and they had dominant territory, dominant possession, and they couldn't change the scoreboard because of their handling. I think the weather played a bit of a part. So in these types of games, I think the team who is forced to force their plays and to make plays, especially when there's a bit of water on the field. It's not raining, but it's wet enough to have an effect on the handling. That's the team that's going to be struggling. And that's exactly what happened to the Stormers. They were forced to make plays. They were forced to play where they'd probably kick in other games, or if the game situation was a bit different, it felt like the attack got really flat, which is a symptom from guys trying too hard, and the scoreboard was just against them from the start. So let's look at a couple of key moments. I think that besides the chances that the Stormers didn't take, which kind of set the tone for the Lions defense, gave them a lot of confidence, and it helped them really snuff out a lot of the Stormers' attack in the beginning. The Galant yellow card was crucial. I think was detrimental to the Stormers' cause. And, they conceded 17 points. Two of those tries, there were a last pass where obviously a cover defender could have made that tackle, get one more ruck, you ask another question from the attack. That didn't happen. They converted those tries. And both of those happened from Q and Horn making a line break. Now, we say his name every single week. It just looks like he's getting better and better. And it's not just on attack. On defense, when they're breaking through, he's making turnovers on the ball. And he's really maturing as a player. And with that long left foot of his kickoffs go higher than some players' up and unders go. So it's a world-class player, and I think he's playing really good rugby. And he's having an effect on scoreboards. The line breaks he makes, it turns into tries. He scores tries himself. So big season ahead for him. And then probably an unsung hero of this victory for the Lions will be their maul defense. I think Baron Peterson doesn't get mentioned enough in situations like this. They took away a really big weapon for the Stormers in terms of playing off their driving mauls, and they couldn't score off it. It was surprising to see that they keep going to it and that they keep doing that. The last one, they went for a back ball maul. They got sacked very easily. Yeah, it was disappointing to not see some variation. Show them all, then have a back peel or a front peel go around. They showed the same picture, and the Lions they were up to the challenge when it came to that. And because that happened, they used less numbers in the maul. They had more numbers in the line, and they had maybe one opportunity where Galant passed to the inside and they made the tackle, but also made the turnover like the Lions did in the game a lot. But other than that, it just never felt like the Lions were ever going to lose this game. Maybe for the first 10, 15 minutes, I was worried because the Lions were battling to exit, and then Krappies got us out of the 22 with a great left foot kick. I don't know why he doesn't use it more. And that seemed to steady the ship a bit. And then obviously the tries came, and that just gave them the world of confidence to play even more. But after that first 10, 15 minutes, it just never felt like the Lions were going to lose this game. For me, it felt like the Stormers were always one or two rucks away from making a mistake, forcing a play, and giving back the ball to the Lions. Player performances. Uh, although he was in the losing game, I just want to tip my hat to Evan Roos today. He was a one-man army. He just never stopped. At one stage, it looked like he was going to go off. He stayed on the field and he kept running, even though he was running into walls and double hits. He kept trying to make plays. He kept trying to be involved in the attack. He wanted to add something to it. And I think if he wasn't there today, the result could have looked a bit different in terms of the margin that the Stormers lost by. He also on defense, he was working extremely hard, and just the way that the scales were tipped against them. They were they were playing in a match that they were probably going to lose from halftime inwards, and it never looked like that. Geez, he's a fighter, and I like watching him play and the way he goes about his business. I think Galant, you know, love him or hate him, he makes something happen. Showed that when he gets into that white channel, it's difficult to tackle. Kicks off both feet, cross kicks. There's a couple of opportunities that he created that obviously didn't come off. But he's an X factor player, and in these types of games, sometimes they come off and sometimes they don't. He still scored a try. He's someone to watch in those types of games. But on the day, I don't think the opportunities and the type of game suited what he likes to do. Similani in the beginning, him and Henko van Wyk had a great duel in the beginning. Similani was getting the better of him, getting some outside gaps, but I think in the end, Henko came up trumps. Great try, line break himself. On the defense, he was just, he's such a tough defender. And, even when he gets into bad tackle techniques, he tries to pull players, like Eben Etzebeth and Peter Steph Toy, tries to pull them back, take them back to their try line. And, he made turnovers. Great little duel there. It's a pity Similani didn't see some more quality ball. They tried to keep him on the wing, but Henko had a fantastic game. On the line side, we said Kewan Horn was fantastic. Henko van Wyk was fantastic. And then he conceded a silly ruck penalty. He was part of a ruck and he put his hands in there, Etienne Oosthuizen. But man, did he make some big hits. Even on one turnover, the whistle already blew. I think he kicked a beautiful torpedo, left-footed torpedo down the field. But the the robustness and the aggressiveness and the physicality he brought to the game, I think getting off the line, making tackles, front on, stopping momentum. I think he was important to the Lions today. And then Krappies van der Berg, it feels like he's just getting better and better and better. Enjoy watching him play. Makes good decisions. It looks like he's past that stage where he gets to the ruck, looks for himself first. He serves and serves and serves, and that inside support line runs that beautifully, just like world-class scrum offs are supposed to do. My wrap up, I think the Lions deserve this one. I think the Stormers will kick themselves when they have a look at the video on Monday, probably tonight already. The amount of opportunities they created, If they took some of them, built a bit of scoreboard pressure on the Lions, you know, you play differently. You feel pressure differently, and then you can get the result to look different. But it kind of felt like the Lions did to the Stormers what the Stormers did to the Lions in their previous game in Cape Town. The Lions got into wide edges. They caused them a lot of problems from there. And then, coming back on the other wide edge, that's where the line breaks occurred. And that's what happened in Cape Town. Whereas it also looks like the Lions learned from their mistakes from their previous outing against the Stormers. They prevented the Stormers from getting into wide edges and kept them in this middle corridor where they could make double hits and be really aggressive and physical. They conceded, I think, 8 more penalties than the Stormers, but I think on the day it was quite kind of worth it. It took away the whole flow of their attack. Their maul defense was good. Normally, if you concede a lot of penalties and your maul defense is not good, you're going to concede tries. So their maul defense backed up their rucking and tackle situation chaos and created some opportunities for them, which they obviously took. And I think the way that the Stormers had to force plays, the Stormers showed that when they do get into wide areas, they did cause some problems for the Lions, especially on the comeback side. But the Lions kept them in that middle corridor long enough for them to either make a mistake or lose the ball and give the ball back to the Lions. So in the end, I think the Stormers have got to go back and have a real look at what went wrong in this game. I think this was a game that they targeted to win, came out guns blazing, but the Lions were the ones hitting the target at the end of the game. Both of them have got the Bulls next, and I think it's becoming make or break for Stormers wise. I think the Lions still have 2 games in hand. I look forward to seeing what happens in the rest of the season. See you soon.
It's the Out the Box Rugby Podcast with André Pretorius and Envia Velman, only on Megaphone Rugby.